sound. Sorry for the interpretation. We lost the sound. We lost the sound.
لكن هنا
However, here in the National Museum for Egyptian Civilization, they will be displayed for all visitors from everywhere worldwide in a fashion befitting their stages, using the modern techniques that will preserve their monumental state. Today, in order to be up to the responsibilities, we, the ancestors of the first, we have to continue the journey of our grandparents. We have to continue their legendary and heritage. We have to preserve them. We have to protect them, because this is our history and our civilization, which is until this moment dazzles and impresses the whole world. Indeed, His Excellency the President took his tour in one of the most important halls in the museum, which is the Central Hall, where he toured around many of the rare historical monuments that are showcased in the Egyptian Civilization National Museum in Fustat. The museum lies in Al Fustat city, and I would like to elaborate further on this city, which is also one of the most important monumental sites and oldest. Al Fustat city was set up by Amr ibn al-As in 640, which is the first capital in the Islamic era in the center of Cairo, which by the road to the pyramids, which actually encompasses so many edifices such as the Hanging Church and the Jewish Ben Azra synagogue, and all of those monumental landmarks will be coupled with the Egyptian Civilization National Committee, which is very important because it encompasses all the richness of the Egyptian civilization throughout the eras, starting from prehistory until to date. Visiting the museum will be an opportunity to all the Egyptian community, as well as the foreign visitors, our guests, in order to explore several mysteries about the Egyptian persons' achievements in different wakes of life since the dawn of history until to date. Models, photos, manuscripts, oil paintings that dates back to the Pharaonic Stone Age, Coptic, Arabic era, until we reach the modern era. All of this will be showcased in this new museum. The rooms of the museum is multiple, on top of which is the central display room that highlights the achievements of the Egyptian civilization throughout different eras, and also the mummies display room is one of the most important halls, which will showcase the Egyptian mummies of kings and queens, and this room actually provides the visitor with a sense of the Valley of Kings, where those mummies had been discovered, coupled with the explanation to how all the ancient Egyptians practiced mummification. And now we go to the Tahrir Square, in particular to the Egyptian Museum, in order to follow up on the last preparations before the inauguration or the launch of the Royal Mummies Parade.
اليوم تم الافتتاح الرسمي المتحف.
Today, NMEC, National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Fustat, is officially inaugurated by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The Egyptian Museum in Tahrir was inaugurated in 1902. For so many years, people visiting Egypt had the dream of visiting the pyramids, Sphinx, the different temples. They go back to their countries and tell all about this magnificent civilization that still baffles humankind. this civilization, ancient Egyptian civilization, was the pioneer of civility. It knew before anyone how to build a strong state, the foundation of which is science, knowledge, and faith. In a few moments, the parade will be launched. The streets of Cairo are waiting. The golden parade of the royal mummies. The once-in-a-lifetime event taking place on the land of Egypt. The great Egypt with the greatest civilization that was the gift to all mankind. The parade will start within moments, and the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization is all set and ready to receive the royal mummies. The golden parade of royal mummies is made up of 18 mummies for kings and 4 mummies for queens. Amenhotep II, 3rd, Ramses II and 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 9th, Seti the 2nd, Mariam Tahsib Tah, Queens Hatshepsut Ahmus Nefertari, Merit Amun. Those are the royal mummies that will be heading from the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir to NMEC in Al Fustat.
السيد الرئيس
His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of Arab Republic of Egypt.
Sisi, the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt.
السيد الرئيس
His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of Egypt, August attendees, it's an honor for me to be here with you on board in order to introduce a long-awaiting event that is being followed with passion with Egypt history, with its civilization and gloriousness, passion with its past and present. The work that is taking place on the territory of Egypt stands as a testimony to what is taking place, as a sign to the state's efforts in order to restore and showcase the Egyptian monuments that simultaneously goes hands in hands in the other mega projects, and at the same time, Egypt is building state-of-the-art museums such as this edifice that we are standing in, Egyptian Civilization National Museum, which is one of the most important museums worldwide, that is designated to only one civilization. Today is going to receive 22 royal mummies under the auspicious and the presence of His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, 22 royal mummies that are going to take their last and final golden trip from the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square in order to rest at its final destination, which is the Egyptian Civilization National Museum in Fustat. Those are grandiose efforts that had been taking place by the state of Egypt, and today we are reaping the fruit of those efforts.
قد إيه كان المصريين القدماء عظماء، قد إيه كان علمهم قوي، معرفتهم بلا حدود، وذكائهم خطير جدا. كل اللي عملوه ده والتاريخ طفل بيحبي. المحتب المهندس المصري العظيم، الوزير وكبير الكهنة واللي أصبح إله للطب بعد كده، هو اللي صمم وبنى المجموعة الجنائزية دي من 4700 سنة فاتوا، 2700 قبل الميلاد، عشان يكون أول وأقدم بناء معماري حجري في التاريخ. بعد توقف دام 6 سنوات بدأ العمل مرة تانية على ترميم هرم زوسر ليعود لهيئته المهيبة، ويتم افتتاحه في 5 مارس 2020. أطعم الخبز لمن لا حقل له، واترك وراءك أثراً طيباً يبقى أبد الدهر. الأثر اللي سابه لنا المصريين من 4400 سنة وهنشوف دلوقتي هو مقبرة واحتي اللي اتحفرت جوه الجبل 300 سنة بعد هرم زوسر، والاكتشاف وإعداد المقبرة اللي هتشوفوها دلوقتي كان في ديسمبر 2018. إحساس لا يوصف لما تدخل المقبرة وتشوف دقة النقوش والألوان. 65 تمثال منحوت في الجبل.
احنا شايفين ان المقبرة دي مقبرة عائلية. احنا بنتكلم على عمق 10 متر تقريبا، بنتكلم على 3 متر عرض، بنتكلم على مناظر من الحياة اليومية من أجمل ما يكون. ما يميز المقابر عن غيرها بدقة تفاصيل مناظر الحياة اليومية.
منطقة كوم الشقافة من أهم المناطق الأثرية في الإسكندرية.
I'm very excited to show you this place today because unlike so many decades past, we used to go inside and smell the humidity and see a lot of water, and there was even a part of the tomb that was completely inaccessible. In 2017, a very ambitious project started to do a complete pump out of the waters from here and drying up this place. 2 years, they finally managed to completely lower the water level that was completely affecting and endangering this Cairo. And this project was inaugurated in 2019.
معبد اليهودي في اسكندرية بناه المصريين في القرن ال14. مصر رممت هذا المكان وتم افتتاحه في 2020. أستاذة ماجدة هارون، أول مرة تدخلي معبد الياهو هامبي في اسكندرية بعد ترميمه؟
لا، أنا كنت هنا في الافتتاح.
إحساسك كان إيه؟
إحساسي كان بصراحة كنت بعيط من الفرحة. بدأت بتهتم بيا.
الدورة دي فيها حجارة أنا ملاحظ مختلفة عن بقية المعبد.
دي أنقاض المعبد القديم وهم بيرمموا اكتشفوا يعني الفتحة دي ما كانتش موجودة.
أكرم أباك وأمك، لا تخطئ، لا تزني، لا تسرق، لا تشهد على قريبك شهادة زور، لا تشتهي ما يملكه جارك، لا تنطق باسم الإله الرب باطلا. الاسم بتاعها كنيسة السيدة العذراء. إنما الأشهر معروفة الكنيسة المعلقة. أولاً ليه سموها كنيسة معلقة؟
سميت بالكنيسة المعلقة لأنها بنيت على برجين من أبراج حصن بابليون اللي هو كان حصن روماني بيرجع للقرن الثاني الميلادي. فالترميم الأخير ترميم شامل، قاموا بترميم هيكل التحتي والبنية التحتية للكنيسة وشفط المياه. قبل الترميم كانت المياه بتغمر الحصن، ما كانش ممكن حد يخش فيه يعني على ارتفاع كبير.
كان في مياه ما حدش يقدر يخش من البوابة دي.
طبعا.
الحضارة هي إن يبقى عندك حرية تمارس عبادتك في وجود عبادات أخرى يعتقدها آخرون. على هذه الأرض كل يوم تمارس حرية الأديان، كل واحد له الحق يمارس ما يعتقد. الكنيسة المعلقة كانت أول مقر بابوي لبابا الإسكندرية بعد انتقالها من الإسكندرية للقاهرة. بتضم العديد من رفاة القديسين، أيقونات المسيح عليه السلام والسيدة مريم. تم افتتاح الكنيسة المعلقة مرة أخرى للزوار بعد ترميمها في 2014.
كنيسة المغارة للشاهدين سرجيوس وواخس الشهيرة بكنيسة أبي سرجة مصر القديمة بتعتبر من الكنائس المهمة في مصر في رحلة العائلة المقدسة. كنيسة اتبنت في أوائل القرن الخامس الميلادي أو أواخر القرن الرابع الميلادي. اتبنت فوق المغارة اللي احتمت فيها العائلة المقدسة. الكنيسة مبنية على الطراز البازيليكي وترممت مراحل عديدة في التاريخ، لكن من أعظم مراحل الترميم اللي تمت في العصر الحديث تم ترميم الكنيسة ترميم شامل لكل الحوائط اللي هي الجزء الإنشائي وبعدين الجزء المعماري في التشطيبات بتاعتها بموافقة هيئة الآثار. وجه قداسة البابا تودرس الثاني افتتح الكنيسة في 2016.
اعمل لدنياك كأنك تعيش أبداً، واعمل لآخرتك كأنك تموت غداً. بهذا المكان الرمز التعبد من أجل الحصول على لقاء كريم مع الله في الآخرة، والتعبد من أجل حياة أفضل عن طريق الحصول على العلم. الأزهر، الجامع والجامعة. الله أكبر. الجامع اتبنى 970 يعني في أواخر القرن العاشر.
أيوة.
وخلص في سنتين.
أيوة.
يعني افتتح 972.
أيوة. أقيمت أول صلاة فيه 7 رمضان الموافق 21 يونيو 972. الترميم الأخير اللي حصل من 2015 ل 2018 لحد ما افتتحوا فخامة الرئيس السيسي مع صاحب السمو الملكي محمد بن سلمان، افتتحوا يوم 6 مارس 2018. كانت كل حتة في الجامع تم الاهتمام بيها.
متحف الفن الإسلامي هو أكبر متحف للآثار الإسلامية على مستوى العالم. في يناير 2014 تعرضت منطقة المتحف لهجمة إرهابية دمرت واجهة المتحف وأكثر من 170 قطعة أثرية من مقتنياته. بعد كده تم تجميعها وترميمها بأيادي مصرية إلى أن تم إعادة افتتاحه في 2017. مسجد الفتح بحي عابدين واحد من أجمل المساجد اللي بتبرز فنون العمارة الإسلامية. ترميم المسجد شمل كل جوانبه علشان يرجع لصورته الأصلية، وفي 2020 أصبح جاهز بعد 3 سنين كاملة من الترميم. ده متحف المركبات الملكية في بولاق. أنشأه الخديوي إسماعيل في القرن ال19 عشان يكون في البداية جاراج للمركبات الملكية. بعد كده اتحول لمتحف من أهم متاحف مصر السياحية.
المبنى كان مهمل، كان تعبان جدا لغاية الحمد لله ما اترمم وافتتحوا السيد الرئيس في 31 أكتوبر 2020. المتحف ده يعتبر من أهم المتاحف النوعية في العالم.
هنا قصر البارون، أحد الشواهد على تاريخ حي مصر الجديدة.
أنا اسمي عنتر جاد الكريم أحمد عبد الله، من مواليد أسوان، عندي 79 سنة. هنا اصلا خالي كان شغال طباخ القصر، وانا كنت صغير معاه وكنت عايش في القصر برضه. اول مره دخلت هنا فيها فانا عايز اشوف اللي فوق ايه، فكان في حفله عندنا هنا فانتهزت فرصه رحت طالع على فوق، هم كلهم تحت. طلعت انا بقى فوق ونزلت كلت علقه من خالي تحت، لان ممنوع اطلع بقى فوق هنا.
القرار الخاص بإنقاذ هذا المبنى. سنة 2017 بدأت عملية الترميم واستمرت لحد ما قام فخامة الرئيس بافتتاح المشروع عام 2020. عملية الترميم للمبنى التاريخي دوت انقسمت لمرحلتين، المرحلة الأولى اللي هو تدعيم الأساسات. بعد كده الجزء الثاني بقى اللي هو عملية ترميم العناصر الزخرفية اللي موجودة. الاستخدام الآخر احنا عملناه معرض بيحكي قصة تاريخ مصر الجديدة بالكامل. تم توفير 175 مليون جنيه لهذا المبنى لترميم المبنى وإنقاذه ثم إعادة تأهيله.
عام 2020 تم تطوير ميدان التحرير، أشهر ميادين مصر المرتبطة بتواريخ خالدة في حياة المصريين. قريب قوي هيقدر كل زائر يشوف الطريق التاريخي العظيم، طريق الكباش. ولأول مرة متاحف آثار في شرم الشيخ والغردقة من أجل زوار المدينتين. متحف الحضارة بيحكي تاريخ الحضارات اللي نشأت على أرض مصر، والنهاردة يتم افتتاح قاعة العرض المركزي وقاعة المومياوات. الأهرامات أشهر موقع أثري في التاريخ بعد تطويره، والآن يترقب الجميع الإعلان عن موعد تاريخ افتتاح المتحف المصري الكبير، أكبر متحف لحضارة واحدة في العالم.
فلنجمع تراثنا قبل أن يلحقنا الموت لنسلمه لأبنائنا. دكتور خالد العناني، إزاي نشأت فكرة متحف العواصم؟
الفكرة نشأت من أكتر من سنتين لما السيد رئيس الجمهورية وجه بإنشاء مدينة للثقافة والفنون، وقال إن أول حاجة تتعمل فيها متحف. ما لقيناش أحلى من فكرة متحف عواصم مصر، بنحكي فيه أهم العواصم اللي مرت على مصر.
نفسي طبعا نشوف بعين حضرتك كل الكلام اللي بتقول عليه ده داخل المتحف، بس حضرتك رفضت.
لا، هي مفاجأة. المتحف ده مفاجأة كبيرة احنا محضرينها. هنخلي الضيف المصري والأجنبي اللي هيجي هنا في العاصمة الجديدة نقول له قد ايه ان احنا معتزين بتاريخنا وحضارتنا، وان اول حاجه اصبحت جاهزه بنسبه 100% النهارده في مدينه الثقافه والفنون هي المتحف والمكتبه. ليه؟ لان احنا قلنا العاصمه الجديده تساوي دوله جديده مبنيه على العلم والثقافه والفنون.
المصري طول عمره بنا شاطر. المصريين بيبنوا والبنى بيعيش آلاف السنين والأجيال. مصر بتبذل جهود جبارة للحفاظ على آثارها لكل الإنسانية، وفي نفس الوقت بتبني الجديد. اللي بيتعمل النهاردة بيصنع التاريخ والمستقبل.
How beautiful is our country, how great is our history, a sense of pride of the treasures all over Egypt. This pride is even intensified by the presence of an aware political leadership represented by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a political leadership keen on representing Egypt in the best way possible, creating a future filled with opportunities for all Egyptians while preserving the history and heritage of Egypt to the future generations and to the whole of mankind. Such efforts have borne fruit in an unprecedented time because this was done by experts and professionals in all fields. Dear guests, please welcome with me His Excellency Dr. Khaled Al-Anani, the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities.
In the name of Allah, most compassionate, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, President of Egypt, ladies and gentlemen, guests of Egypt, millions of those who are lovers of the Egyptian civilization in Egypt and worldwide. The movie only showed the case a very tiny bit of the whole file of the civilization efforts, and the documentary was only showcasing how we took interest in all of the civilizations regardless of the historical era, religion, or geographic location. Throughout the past few years, we were able to open and develop more than 20 museums, restore more than 100 monumental sites. The Grand Egyptian Museum took a leap, and it is about to be completed. The number of monumental excavations exceeded 30 pre-corona that actually led to very important monumental explorations, behind which whole generations of archaeologists, restorators, and I have the honor to work with this team. I would like to note that during the coming phase, openings of museums or sites shall be successful. And we completed 100% of the Egyptian museum in the new administrative capital, and we have a notable advancement in Muhammad Ali Museum and also in the Greco-Roman Museum in Alexandria, and we are working on the festival or the celebration of the global event of opening the Grand Egyptian Museum, in which we have a whole host of Egyptians and public figures as well as foreign figures, leaders of the world, to attend this celebration. Your Excellency, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to your constant support to the tourism, your personal and constant support and monitoring of the file, the financial support that is unprecedented designated to the tourism file, and also you adopted the idea of organizing the mummies parade. When I introduced it to you, introduced this idea to you in 2019, and you were very clear that the event will come to light adequately and cover all of the points of the journey of this parade. And the most important point is that you honored us with your attendance. It's a civilization unique tourism in Egypt. It is unprecedented and it will not be recurrent. That actually underscores that the Egyptian state puts our civilization on top of these priorities, and it takes pride in our predecessors. So during the past few days, nothing that over echoes the mummies parade. And we have 400 cameras, Egyptian journalists and news agencies, and I'm sure and certain that this event will promote Egyptian tourism worldwide, and also it will connect more between the Egyptians and our tourism. We have 4 champions of this event, 22 mummies of kings and queens, led by Skenan Ra, who actually launched the war against Hexus, after which other mummies, and they are taking the final journey, and they were prepared properly. What do you mean by this final journey? Did they move before? Yes, they moved several times. So during some weak eras, they were collected and they were buried in 2 caches in Luxor. And when they have been discovered at the end of the 19th century, they moved to Bulak. And after that, it had been moved to a palace in Giza. After that, it had been moved to Al Tahrir Museum until 1902, until 1930, where they actually moved to the tomb of Saad Zaghloul. So today we are giving them the final journey. They will be displayed properly, scientifically, that provides them with the necessary awe. Everybody asks me the question, why the mummies did not go to the Grand Museum and to the NMEC. When the cultural leaders thought about it, they considered creating a museum by the pyramids with the champion Amun, and another museum with the champion of the royal mummies. So the tourism is going to go to Al Tahrir Museum to see all the main artifacts, and then to these NMEC in order to watch the Egyptian mummies. And I would like to thank them very much for the idea of creating those ground museums. The idea of setting up the museum had been set up in 1980, and I would like to welcome Her Excellency, head of the UNESCO, and the two ministries of tourism, the Saudi and the Greek. And then the founding stone had been put in 2002, but it stopped in 2011, and the inauguration of the temporary hall had been inaugurated then. NMEC is a grand project. However, I'd like to tell you that all what you see is Egyptian design. My archaeologists and monuments, my colleagues in the ministry, actually, they are in charge of this display, and I would like to thank very much the armed forces body of the projects. And today His Excellency the President inaugurated the Central Hall, which tells the Egyptian civilization throughout the eras, and also the Mummies Hall received the sacrovage. However, we are going to open it to the public in 18th of April, because the mummies need some preparation until they are displayed to the public. The third champion after the mummies and the NMEC is the Tahrir Museum, which had been inaugurated in 1902, and I would like to reassure you that it will not die, but rather it will be restored. But the major champion that embraces all of us is Cairo, the beautiful Cairo that is dressed in a new garment, impressive, dazzling. And I would like to tell you that the Royal Mummies Parade contributed to the beautification of Cairo, because we developed all of the landmarks through which the parade shall pass under daily supervision of His Excellency Madbouli, the Prime Minister, and he took personal visits to all of those places, including the Egyptian Museum and the NMEC. And last but not least, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all of my colleagues in the government and all of the entities of the state that took part in the development efforts until this event came to light. And I would like to thank the Egyptian company that organized this unique event. And from here, I would like to stand and reassure the whole world that we know very well the value of our heritage, and we don't actually spare an effort in order to preserve it. I wish you to enjoy the golden parade of the mummies. Thank you very much.
And now the long-awaited moment, the cultural, historical event that is the most important for the year 2021, an unprecedented event where efforts were exerted by all state institutions and volunteers, the heads of the orchestra, the artists, decor designers, interior designers, directors, youths of universities. All of them are Egyptians who have volunteered to organize the event. Throughout months of continuous work, they cater to all artistic details. In just a few moments, we will witness the final and last movements and procession of the mummies throughout the streets of the Great Cairo. Your Excellency, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, we are about to start the Golden Parade of the Royal Mummies.
أنا اللي لعمري يوم كلي ولا مليت، أنا اللي في وش زمني وقفت ولا اتهزيت. أنا الفكرة اللي عايشة سنين، أنا الموضوع، أنا الصوت اللي وقت الصمت كان مسموع. أنا اللي لعمري يوم كليت ولا مليت، أنا اللي في وش زمني وقفت ولا اتهزيت. أنا الفكرة اللي عايشة سنين، أنا الموضوع، أنا الصوت اللي وقت الصمت كان مسموع. بداية كل شيء موجود، سنين من المستحيل تتعد، حضارة عمرها ما تموت، تاريخ عمره بعمر الأرض. أنا الشمس اللي بعدت نور ونورت الطريق للكل، أنا مصر اللي من غيري ميزان الدنيا دي يختل. حروف اسمي في أول فصل، في كل كتاب وكل زمان، أنا كل الفروع والأصل، ولي أثر في كل مكان. أنا الشمس اللي بعدت نور ونورت الطريق للكل، أنا مصر اللي من غيري ميزان الدنيا دي يختل. أنا اللي في وش زمني وقفت ولا اتهزيت. أنا الصوت اللي وقت الصمت كان مسموع.
Great. The miracle of ancient Egyptians is that they are great, even according to modern standards. Given all the advancements achieved by the human race in sciences, in arts, yet the ancient Egyptian civilization is still capable of mesmerizing us by all its mystery and secrets that are uncovered day by day. And to this day, its discoveries echo across the whole world. And when we head to any destination and we say we're Egyptians, people's eyes sparkle. And with a voice full of enthusiasm, they say Egypt, the land of enchantment, the land of beauty, the land of history. When people from all over the world seek the roots of civilization, they end up here in Egypt, Dunya, mother of the world. The Pyramid of Cheops, the most significant of the 7 wonders of the world, standing tall for over 4,500 years, and to this day scientists and scholars find it an unresolved mystery. How were the Egyptians able to build something as grand and meticulous as such, with tools considered to be less than primitive compared to the technology of today? The answer is simple. Egyptians were able to build this giant edifice with intellect, with knowledge and skills, and more importantly, creed and faith, belief, faith. Those are the true secrets of immortality. Well, those are the Egyptians, simply. Across millennia, people from all over the world have been arriving here just to visit this great monument, the construction of which is considered an architectural miracle of a genius architect and an inspirational artisan, intricately using an exceptional palette of radiant colors and inscriptions. Deir el-Bahari Temple, built by Queen Hatshepsut, the most prominent queens of Egypt and the whole world, built 3,500 years ago in the embrace of the mountain in West Luxor. Hatshepsut testifies to the greatness of Egyptian women, their cleverness, skillfulness, wisdom, and resilience. During her reign, architecture and construction flourished, and her remarkable monuments stand tall to this day. And so she's the origin of the Egyptian proverb, a woman as strong as 100 men.
The Egyptian proverb also said that Egypt is extremely fertile, and as it provides talent and creativity, civilization and culture, that's why Egypt is rich in antiquities, because it's the first land that experienced stability and prosperity. Maybe one of the most famous discoveries that mismurmured the world on the land of Egypt was the tomb of the young pharaoh Tutankhamun. The archaeologists discovered the entire contents of the tombs. The mummy was mummified, very well preserved in its unique sarcophage, and its golden mask is still glowing as it was just crafted yesterday. Just imagine one single tomb is holding more than 5,000 artifacts. Most certainly we need to be exhibited in a grand museum, just like the one we are witnessing. It is going to be displayed first in the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is the largest cultural and civilization project in the 21st century on the land of Egypt.
For thousands of years, people have been wondering how ancient Egyptians managed to build such a great civilization. How could they sculpt architectural marvels out of rocky mountains using just some primitive tools? How was the pyramid built? The sun aligns itself on the face of Ramses at a specific time every year. But how? For thousands of years, people have wondered what's the secret of the ancient Egyptians, until about 200 years ago, when Champollion, the French Egyptologist, finally managed to decipher the hieroglyphic scripts through the Rosetta Stone. The truth was so simple, yet so astounding. The mystery of ancient Egyptians is not in a papyrus, nor is it inscribed on a mural. Their secret is not limited to their knowledge of astronomy, medicine, or engineering. The greatest secret behind ancient Egyptians lies right here, in the heart. A deeply rooted creed and faith resided within the heart of the ancient Egyptian, marked by values of love, justice, good, and peace. The ancient Egyptian believed in the concept of Ma'at, the universal order, which favors good, truthfulness, justice, and equality, rejects chaos, evil, and injustice. Ancient Egyptians believed in the concept of reward and retribution, as well as life after death and final judgment. Not only did ancient Egyptians master engineering, medicine, and mummification, but through their faith and creed, the ancient Egyptians possessed the key to life itself.
Ancient Egyptians understood the soul, and they had faith in the purity and eternity, and they understood that the body is a trust and they have to maintain it when the soul departs to its creator. All the construction, building, and architecture, astronomy, and all the mummification mystery was all motivated with the faith in verity, justice, resurrection, accountability, and immortality, hoping for an afterlife, an ideal life void of conflicts and evil, an eternal heaven accommodating those who have done good.
If we look around to everything that we've accomplished, we will realize that everything started out merely as an idea, a seed that sprouted within one's imagination, one who had a dream of shaping life differently. His belief in the idea pushed him to strive to achieve it. Through knowledge and skillfulness, he turned the dream into reality. Imagination and creativity are the secrets behind history's first integral stone building and the first pyramid-shaped construction ever known to mankind. Through imagination and creativity, ancient Egyptians have adapted their knowledge, their skills, and their resources, as said in colloquial Egyptian language, to get ready for the afterlife, to leave a legacy of everlasting monuments and timeless antiquities, an absolute miracle of engineering and architecture. Yet the inscriptions there are our true heritage. These are the voice of the human living conscience that attest to our pure instincts ever since the beginning of creation.
The faith of ancient Egyptians created their civilization, built their nation, the oldest fully integrated civilization known to history. Their faith and doctrine fortified their power, and their army was by far one of the most powerful armies. It protects and safeguards people and honor, and their antiquities that are still standing tall is a witness of their greatness that emerged from their faith, and their civilization is recounted throughout history as a glory humans take pride in, and along the course it shall remain as the compass, the energy source of inspiration for all humanity.
تزل يقظانة العينين صلبة القدم في الأرض كالجبل وفي السماء للذرى وللقمم مصر لم تنم ما خر سورها العتيد من هدم من هار شعبها العظيم من هزم ولم يزل مزودا بأعرق القيم متوج الأمل في الأرض الهرم وفي السماء في السماء للذرى وللقمم وما بين الليل والنور في فرق، وفي يوم طلعت شمس من الشرق، وما بين الليل والنور في فرق، وفي يوم طلعت شمس من الشرق، نورت الدنيا أمل وحياة، نورت الدنيا أمل وحياة، ده تاريخ الناس كلها ده تاريخ الناس كلها عارفاه، وما بين الليل والنور في فرق، وفي يوم طلعت شمس من الشرق، وما بين الليل والنور في فرق، وفي يوم طلعت شمس من الشرق، نورت الدنيا أمل وحياة، نورت الدنيا أمل، نورت الدنيا أمل وحياة، نورت الدنيا أمل وحياة، ده تاريخ الناس كلها عارفاه، ده تاريخ الناس كلها عارفاه، ده تاريخ الناس كلها عارفاه.